It's unfortunate, but wrestling fans have grown accustomed to waking up and hearing news of their favorite wrestler passing away. Often, these wrestlers are tragically taken away from us at a young age. 2017 has been no different. And last year, we've said goodbye to one of the greatest managers of all time and a Samoan superhero, just two of the many that entertained us wrestling fans over the years. Some wrestlers, however, were not widely known as some of their departed colleagues, but this video is to simply pay tribute to them all. Chavo Guerrero Sr. Guerrero Sr. was the oldest son of Mexican wrestling legend Gory Guerrero and would be best known for his longtime feud with Rowdy Piper battling for NWA America's Heavyweight Championship, which Guerrero won an unprecedented 15 times. Chavo Sr. would also be known for his appearance in WWE, landing right in the middle of an ongoing feud between son Chavo Guerrero Jr. and brother, the late great Eddie Guerrero. He would soon make history at the age of 55, becoming the oldest wrestler to win the original Cruiserweight Championship. However, at the age of 68, his son would announce his passing, mentioning on Instagram, he did things his way, not always right, not always wrong, but he always followed what he believed in. The 7th episode of the Netflix series Glow was dedicated to Guerrero. Dennis Stamp. Those who watched Barry Blaustein's 1999 wrestling documentary Beyond the Mat fondly remember Dennis Stamp, the man who became a wrestling cult favorite when he uttered the words, "I'm not booked." Stamp did, however, manage to get booked as a referee for Terry Funk's retirement match against Bret Hart. However, Stamp was definitely more than just an internet meme. He worked a number of territories throughout the 70s and was best known in West Texas, where the promotion favored legitimate wrestlers. He also had a good run in California. His full-time career ended with the death of the Amarillo territory, but he worked through the 80s as enhancement talent on both WWF and AWA television shows. In 2011, Stamp was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which he successfully beat. Unfortunately, he announced in 2016 the cancer had returned. He passed away on the 13th of March 2017, with various legends paying tribute on social media. Rosie. Matthew Anoa'i made his big break in WWE alongside his brother as 3-Minute Warning in 2002. After his brother was released, Matt broke out on his own, becoming a superhero teaming with the Hurricane, which culminated in his first World Tag Team Championship reign. Sadly, his run in the WWE didn't last long, and he was released in 2006. After his WWE run, Matt began wrestling in Japan under the name Rosie. In 2007, he attempted to return to WWE but failed to get a contract after wrestling a few dark matches. In his later years, his weight started to become an issue, and even though he made an attempt to lose weight on the ABC reality series Fat March, he had to quit due to an injury. In 2014, Anoa'i was hospitalized due to congestive heart failure and atrial fibrillation. He was also suffering from weakness in general and planned to undergo dialysis because of kidney problems. Close friend and WWE creative writer Court Bauer mentioned in a recent interview, his health was clearly fading. He had a lot of struggles with his heart in 2014 and hadn't lost weight over the past 3 years. In spite of his deteriorating health, he always had such a great, upbeat, positive outlook. He was like a big kid with the enthusiasm for life that he showed. Outlaw Ron Bass. Blazing through the territories between the 1970s and 1980s, Bass was a rugged Texan who used old-school offense to intimidate and punish his unlucky opponents. He would appear in the WWF during the late 80s, engaging in a memorable feud with Brutus Beefcake, where the two battled in a hair versus hair match. Shortly after leaving the WWF, Bass would retire from wrestling due to the injuries he suffered over the years. Following his retirement from the ring, he would go on to find religion and earn his bachelor's degree from Arkansas State University. Sadly, in March 2017, Bass was unaware his appendix had burst and passed away on the 7th of March 2017 due to complications from surgery. He was 68. Nicole Bass. Bass was best known for her appearances as part of Howard Stern's cast of characters and her extensive career as a female bodybuilder, winning the National Bodybuilding Championship in 1997. However, in 1998, she debuted in ECW, aligning herself with Just Incredible, Chastity, and Jason. It wasn't too long before she joined the WWF, debuting as Sable's bodyguard. She would also have a brief partnership with Ivory before abruptly leaving the WWF, filing a sexual harassment lawsuit against Steve Lombardi, also known as the Brooklyn Brawler, but the case was ultimately dismissed in 2003. Bass would continue wrestling on the independent circuit and as a personal trainer, but her health issues plagued her new career. On the 16th of February 2017, a statement was posted on her official Facebook page by Bass's girlfriend, where she stated, "A few days ago, Nicole got very sick. She was brought into the hospital and they did everything they could to help her. I have been sitting here with her in the room 24/7 since she got here, making sure she was being given the best possible care. Today, we learned that there is nothing else that can be done." Bass's life support machine was turned off the next day. Timothy Well. The new generation was arguably one of the worst periods in WWE history, with buy rates at an all-time low, and McMahon had no idea how to successfully transition away from his past megastars like Hulk Hogan and other muscle-bound beasts. McMahon had his wrestlers take on wacky gimmicks such as a Minotaur and a Garbage Man. This was no different when they brought in the team of Well Dunn, consisting of Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, who both had success in the USWA and World Wrestling Council as tag team champions. The team oddly donned bow ties with brightly coloured thongs, but apart from their odd attire, their run in the WWF wasn't exactly spectacular, with their most notable feud being against the Bushwhackers. The pair were released in 1995 and continued to work on the independent scene until they disbanded in 1998. Well would wrestle until his retirement in 2004. In 2012, World Wrestling Council falsely stated on their website that Well had passed away, only for Well a week later to refute the claim. Tragically, however, Well would pass away of kidney failure on the 9th of January 2017. A GoFundMe page had been set up in support of funeral costs, to which Chris Jericho made a considerable donation. Tom Zenk. Before we had YouTube's Z-Man Brian Zane, the wrestling world had Z-Man Tom Zenk. Having begun his wrestling career in 1984, Zenk was best known for his time in the WWF, teaming alongside Rick Martel as the Can-Am Connection and later teaming with Brian Pillman, capturing the US Tag Team Championships in WCW. Zenk also had a successful singles career, winning the NWA WCW Television Championship for a brief period. After this glory period, Zenk dropped off from the wrestling world, appearing in All Japan Pro Wrestling and American Wrestling Federation briefly before retiring in 1996. His drop-off was presumably due to his testifying against Vince McMahon during the 1994 steroid trial and threatened legally for comments he made about the WWF. Up until his passing on the 9th of December 2017, Zenk had not been in the public eye. The cause of his passing has yet to be disclosed. Ivan Koloff. When the United States of America was involved in a real-world conflict against the Soviet Union, having a Russian-born wrestler in a promotion would have been dangerous. But that didn't stop the WWF bringing French-Canadian tough man Ivan Koloff to play the Russian bear, garnering nuclear heat from the audience. Koloff would immediately become a top heel and defeating US favourite Bruno Sammartino for the WWF Championship. He would continue his Russian heel gimmick further in the NWA, forming a tag team with kayfabe nephew Nikita Koloff and winning various tag team championships. Just like Koloff was a top heel as a singles competitor, his Russian trio was one of the most hated groups in the NWA during the 1980s. Koloff would retire from wrestling in 1994 and named as one of the many defendants, including on this list, in Konstantin Kara's concussion lawsuit against the WWE. Koloff is one of the many deserved wrestlers not to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but perhaps after his passing in February of this year, that could all change. George the Animal Steele. The month of February seemed to be the time many wrestlers on this list passed away. George the Animal Steele was unfortunately no exception. For almost 20 years of his wrestling career, Steele was amongst one of the most hated, feuding with the likes of fan favourite Bruno Sammartino in the 70s. but it would be his wild man act, complete with chomping on clarets to give his green tech appearance and mashing turnbuckles with his teeth to blindside opponents, that would later make him a fan favourite. He would most notably enter a feud with Macho Man Randy Savage, having an apparent obsession with Savage's wife, and take part in Steamboat's Intercontinental Championship win at WrestleMania 3. Steele would however retire in 1988 after being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and would work on and off as a road agent with the WWF until the late 1990s. Even though Steele would never win a major championship, he would become one of the most recognized and most popular figures in WWE history, and rightfully inducted into the 1995 WWE Hall of Fame. He would make his last appearance on WWE TV during a match with Kofi Kingston and David Otunga. However, those who would follow Steele's Twitter were fully aware he had been ill for some time and dealing with serious health issues before passing on the 16th of February 2017 from kidney failure. Bobby the Brain Heenan. What can be said for Bobby the Brain Heenan that hasn't been said countless times by both fans and wrestlers? He entertained wrestling fans for many decades with his quick-witted humour as manager to many talents in the WWF, and his on-screen rival but close personal friend Gorilla Monsoon is undoubtedly one of the best pairings wrestling's ever had. The Brain, however, had more than just the gift of the gab, as he initially started out as an in-ring competitor in Indianapolis's WWA before slowly transitioning as a manager to some of the AWA and WWF's greatest wrestlers and teams. He would wrestle occasionally in the WWF, but due to a persistent neck injury, Heenan would become a full-time commentator. However, 1993 would be the time for Heenan to say goodbye to the WWF and accept a more lucrative contract in WCW. It was evident, however, the Brain certainly didn't enjoy his time there, and his heart was never in the job. Sadly, in 2002, the tremendous talker would be diagnosed with throat cancer and battled with the illness for many years. The treatment he had undergone during the time took a dramatic impact on both his voice and appearance. He would be inducted into the 2004 Hall of Fame, giving a legendary speech before undergoing necessary reconstructive jaw surgery, unfortunately making it even more difficult to communicate. Regardless of his health, Heenan would still make efforts to appear at various wrestling conventions. Jimmy Snuka. The high-flying star from the Fiji Islands enjoyed success in a number of territories during the 1970s, including a big run in JCP and incredible success in the WWF as a fearsome heel. Snuka quickly earned a title match against WWF champion Bob Backlund, leading to their historic June 28, 1982 cage match at Madison Square Garden, where Snuka dived off the cage. Already being cheered, Snuka turned babyface later that year, feuding with the Magnificent Morocco and later Rowdy Piper. Snuka left the WWF for the AWA before returning to the WWF and later working for Eastern Championship Wrestling. In 2015, Snuka battled stomach cancer, and it was later revealed he had dementia. Snuka passed away at the age of 73 from a terminal illness. Before his passing, however, Snuka would be arrested and charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter for the death of ex-girlfriend Nancy Argentino, an incident that occurred 32 years ago. Snuka pleaded not guilty but was unable to stand trial due to his dementia. Charges were therefore ultimately dismissed. Snuka would pass away 12 days later.